And we're live.
Heyo.
Ah, hello.
What up, fermented folks? Welcome to another episode of Fermented Fiction. We're here for another cold, chilly December week, unless you live somewhere that's not cold and chilly, in which case I guess it's summertime. Happy summer. Enjoy a nice, warm cerveza as you listen to us talk to you about this new book slash show slash movie. This week it's going to be... What?
I've just decided that every intro is going to be you, like, actually being professional and me just being chaotic.
That's fine. Do you want to try being the professional one?
No.
Are you chaotic neutral or chaotic evil?
That's Colin.
Why can't I be chaotic good, Colin?
You can be.
Hmm?
Do
My
it.
thumb doesn't stretch in there.
Yeah,
bad
chaotic good is a type. You know, you can be
is.
that.
It's like good, but not helpful.
I have to typecast.
It's not helpful, just like this intro. If you've never watched Fermented Fiction before, hey, zing! If you've never watched Fermented Fiction, here you are. This is what it is. If you want to leave, we completely understand, because this show is bullshit. If you don't, though, you're one of our people. I'm Clay Vermullen. That's my brother Travis. Over here we got Colin and we got Jeremy. They're our tech people slash co-hosts. They're doing all the real work. Travis and I are just showing up here to be pretty. And we're going to do that.
Which we aren't, but you know.
No, we're not good. I didn't say we're good at it. We're just here to do it, you know what I'm saying?
You're giving it your all.
Yeah, Clay, what's underneath the hat?
Baldness. Yeah. Looks like that. All the way back, baby.
I'm going to be there soon, so I can't say too much.
Yeah, well, we'll see. You know, only time will tell. So, this week, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to give a quick update, and then we're going to go ahead and jump right into the story. This week, we're going to cover The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the first book in the Chronicles of Narnia. If you're unfamiliar, there's movies, there's books, there's audiobooks. It's a classic by C.S. Lewis, classic fantasy novel series, and you could go check it out if you want. We'll tell you what we think about it as we go.
First book written, second chronologically.
Boom. I didn't know it was a second chronologically. What's the first one chronologically?
The Magician's Nephew is technically the first chronologically.
Nerd. All right. All right, so we're talking about the second book in the Chronicles of Narnia, apparently. First book written. Travis, what's an update?
Oh, this is hard. This is gonna hurt.
Okay.
It's gonna hurt.
Everybody prepare to be empathetic.
So I've been going to, you know, every time I go to bars now, I just say dealer's choice. I'm exploring. I'm branching out my beer palette. They give me a lot of IPAs, okay, and you know
They would.
I like them. I like them now, and I don't.
Oh,
It hurts.
that's official. You're saying you like IPAs?
Yeah, I think I need to sell the Subaru, or else I'll just be too far.
Yeah, you've gone far. You've gone far now. I mean,
I'm gonna come outside, and there's gonna just randomly have sprouted one of those coexist stickers.
I mean, I guarantee it's already there. I'd be very surprised if it's not. You have a roof nest too, so like, you're doing the
that was
whole
good,
thing.
though.
Sure, it was.
I don't use the roof nest for camping. In my defense, I use it for weddings. You know, you just park. It's right there, bed, top of car.
Beating the system.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean,
What's an update in your life?
my big thing I got going on right now, I got my Crevasse book tour was going on in November. Yeah, I got this here. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Got lots of new reviews. Still coming in with lots of good reviews, so that's pretty exciting. Yeah, so if you haven't read my book Crevasse yet, and you like to read horror books, maybe horror and or adventure books, go check it out. It's got lots of good reviews.
But where can they find it?
You can find it at clayvermullenfiction.com. I'll link it in the description of this episode. But
We're not going to do that.
Wait, you're telling me we shouldn't give the the Bezos machine money?
I mean, yeah, that's where the link will take you. But you should go to my website first and click on it there.
Liar!
I'm not lying. It's on my website.
Affiliate links.
Yeah, it's an affiliate link.
Click on
But, you
the
know,
link.
the clicks are good. The
Click
clicks
on the
are
link.
good.
It'll help the show
Clicks are good.
and put a billionaire in a dick-shaped rocket.
That's right. And he's going to get to that rocket whether you buy my book or not. My book is a very small measure,
It's
a very small part of his
inconsequential, all
profit.
things
Completely inconsequential. So, yeah.
So
just do it.
we can't afford the third shaped rocket. Why? We need $7.99 more cents.
That's right. That's right. So go buy Crevasse, get him off this planet, Emperor Bezos into the rocket. Then he's not on Earth anymore.
Then he's
That's
the
for
biggest dickhead in space.
He's franchising.
Yeah. He can have Mars.
Multiplanetary.
You know, go get it. Go have Mars, bud. Like, go for it. I root for him. What?
Never mind.
Elon is the dick-shaped rocket, not
No.
Bezos?
No.
No, Bezos has
Bezos-
the most dick-shaped rocket.
Bezos is the shaped rocket, but Elon's the one obsessed with Mars.
He's further.
Oh, okay. Bezos doesn't care about Mars?
He just cares about dicks in space.
That's fair. That's fair.
He just wants to put dicks in space.
Let's get him out there. Let's get him out there, and you can do that by buying Crevasse on Amazon. But, you know, get to it by clicking the link on my website, because it's good for the algorithm.
Dicks in space.
Dicks in space. Dicks in space. Dicks in space. Dicks in space. Colin.
No, I'm not going to get into this.
Colin. Dicks in space. Colin. Dicks in space. Let's go, Colin. Come on, bud.
It's
You can do it.
oh.
Don't you like to put your hand in the
Dicks in space.
dicks in space?
Space.
All right.
Gog my dog! Gog my dog!
And if you don't get that reference, go watch the last episode about Fairy Tale by Stephen King. All right, this week
Let's release these in order this time.
we're talking about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Jeremy?
What?
Nobody asked for you. Look over there. All right.
Whoa.
It's not my fault I'm a shitty producer. Okay, here we go. We're going to roll a dice. We're doing Forced Entrollment. That's our main first segment of the show. We roll these 20-sided die. High roll defends the book, movie, show that we're talking about this week, which is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Low roll attacks it, regardless of how we actually feel. So, Travis, let's roll them puppies. See what we get.
Wait. Mine fell out of the dice box. Should I count the number?
No, you got to re-roll it, dog. Got to be
It
intentional.
depends if it was a critical or not.
Unless it was a 1, then it counts.
It wasn't a critical.
This is what I got.
That's exactly what I rolled.
No way, dog.
That's out of the box, but then I rolled again and I got a 12.
All right.
So I think it's rigged, just like the NFL, because the Washington Commanders definitely won because of the refs.
You weren't even watching the game. You were on this show. Shut up.
No, but it's the true Philadelphia fan who's just like, I don't need to watch the game. It was rigged.
Yeah, that's
Fire them
true.
all.
Go Birds. Fire a lot of them. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Fire
Go
them all.
birds.
All right, let's do. You want to do a reroll? Is that what you want?
Let's do
You don't like the refs?
You already did.
Well, this time I rolled a nat 20, so.
Oh
And I
my
rolled
god.
13, so one higher. Ooh.
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. In space. In space. Jeremy,
In space.
start the timer.
Oh, that.
All right, Jeremy's going to put us on a 10-minute timer. At the conclusion of the timer, we're going to get cut off even if we're mid-sentence. Let's
Oh, yeah.
ride.
Yeah. All right. So we got entrollment. It's happening in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Let's be real, it's Fantasy 101. If you're a fantasy fan and you started reading fantasy as a kid, this is likely one of the places where your fantasy journey began. It was for me. It was for countless other people in the world. And it's a great way to get into fantasy because it's written by one of the OGs of the genre. I mean, like Travis was telling us before the show, C.S. Lewis Tolkien. They're kind of the two big granddaddies of the fantasy genre. I mean, it pretty much literally didn't exist until they came along. And you can ask pretty much any author about that back in the day. You know, they basically invented it. All the things. So when you read this, you might think, oh, it's really tropey. Well, that's because they invented all the tropes that are still used today. And that is biblical allegory. That is dwarves, elves, as we know them. A lot of the Eurocentric folklore that has found its way into like 90% of fantasy that was written from Tolkien's era on to the modern era. It's all in there because of these guys. These guys pretty much created this and popularized this genre of writing. And their stories were so powerful, Narnia, the Chronicles of Narnia and the Lord of the Rings, that they created an entire genre. And it's one of the most popular genres out today. I mean, it's one of my favorite genres. And so we have C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien to thank for that. So that's, my first point, and it's obviously a pretty big one. So thank you, C.S. Lewis, for writing one of the, pinnacles of my favorite genre next to horror. I appreciate you. Appreciate you for that. And then there's more things that I like about it. First of all, this book is very much written for children. But I feel like C.S. Lewis wrote this story in a way that wasn't condescending, which I really appreciate. A lot of the times when people write children's books, there's a big difference between a child's book and a young adult book, and then a young adult book to an adult book. I feel like C.S. Lewis did a good job of bridging that gap. He writes to children, but he isn't condescending to them, as in he treats them like equals who can understand a story without being told literally everything that's going on. He kind of it's a great intro into reading deeper into a story. So that's my first points.
I'm just doing the Robert De Niro over here the whole time. There's a TikTok out there, and I'm going to. There's a TikTok out there where it's an interview with Freddie Prinze Jr. and I can't remember the actress, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and they're being interviewed about Scooby-Doo, and she goes into it and she's like, it wasn't like a children's movie, it was like a deep kind of analysis of what that cartoon was supposed to be and all of that. I think that's Tolkien, right? And then the video goes over to Freddie Prinze Jr. and he's like, it's a movie about a talking dog, yo. That to me looks so Tolkien didn't feel like there was enough of a mythos in Europe, and so he created an entire, basically his own Bible with the Silmarillion, several languages, deep characters, a whole backstory of how the universe was created. And then, once he'd done all of that world building, he put pen to paper for The Hobbit, and it shows. Lewis just was like, I want to make the Bible, but instead of Jesus, it's going to be a talking lion. and Santa Claus is going to be in it. Why? Because. And he's just going to give all these kids weapons, because why not?
Nobody wants winter without Christmas, all right?
Sure.
Worst thing imaginable.
That's true. Without Father Christmas. But I don't know. I think, yes, he is a titan of the fantasy genre, which is not just one of my favorites. It is my favorite, definitively favorite genre. But I think we have to get to the point where we acknowledge that sometimes the titans are no longer as good as they used to be. I rewatch black and white movies, and yes, they're fun for nostalgia's sake, but some Marilyn Monroe does not hold up anymore because it was made for a different time. And I think that's a lot of what Lewis is. Mm-hmm. Kids' books are written better now. They aren't just direct allegories of the Bible. His whole thing is not subtle. And here's why. Lewis is a fantastic theologian. Lewis's nonfiction is so good. The Great Divorce, the Screw Tape Letters, the Four Loves. I could reread those books night and day. They're so good.
Okay.
But he tried to take that and put it into a fantastical children's fairy tale, and it doesn't work as well because, yes, it's biblical allegory. Yes, he's trying to tell a very explicit Christian message, but trying to disguise it with this kind of fairy tale setting doesn't work because it's too blunt. So you lose the story for the theology, and you don't get the full theology because you're trying to get the story. I think he should have just always stuck with his guns, which is that he's a fantastic Christian theologian. I'm telling everybody right now, go read the Screwtape Letters and go read The Great Divorce. Even if you aren't Christian, there's some great philosophy in them. But The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I think, is just, it tried to be both, and in trying to be both, it did not balance them well. And they're both just kind of subpar. It's a subpar theology book, and it's a subpar fantasy book that did create a lot of the industry and the tropes, but just because it's old doesn't mean it's good.
Is it subpar, or is it just for a younger audience that isn't ready to read the Screwtape Letters? You can't just give that to like a 10-year-old and say, all right, listen, this is a good book. I don't care what you think about it. All right? This is a good book, and you're going to read it. You're going to like it. That no
In
kid...
the 1800s, you maybe could have.
No, you couldn't. That's where the fairy tales came from. Like, kids want to read story. Like, you can tell a story with all those messages and all those important themes, and if you have animals talking about it, kids are going to inherently be more interested. I mean, it's just like I was interested in animals as a kid, so were you. Like, talking animals are cool. Let's just admit that. You know, that's not just for kids either. That's for adults too. There's a reason like 80% of heraldic symbols were an animal, you know? Like, rich guys were like, I really like ostriches. All right. I saw this bird. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You're saying they're both subpar. I'm saying they're for entirely different audiences. That doesn't make it subpar. That makes it, like I said, C.S. Lewis, The Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe, it's intro to fantasy. It's intro to fantasy. Kids have to start somewhere. They have to have their first allegory. They have to have their first fantasy story. This is where they start to learn about how to read deeper into those things. Those things, those deeper themes, those deeper messages, those are in there. C.S. Lewis put them in there. He's not doing it subpar. He's doing it for a different audience. It's not ready to read the deeper stuff.
Tell me a French author who also wrote fantastical stories of talking animals that were allegories for the English and French governments of the 1900s and 1800s. Brian Jacques is better than C.S. Lewis. I would rather give my kid these days Redwall than I would Narnia.
Do you think Brian Jacques exists because of him?
That's not a defense for Narnia.
I'm not defending Narnia.
Just because it's the foundation doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't mean it's better.
I'm not saying it's better.
That's what I'm saying, is things have gotten better. So we can't sit here and say, oh, Narnia is a 5-star just because it's the foundation. No. Yes, thank you, C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean your book is like still great. Like, it just means that it was one of the first.
So you're arguing that it is no longer great or seminal to the genre?
No, I'm arguing, yes, it's still seminal to the genre, but it's not, like, if I'm to rank it as a fantasy book, straight up, 5-star rating, I'm going to give it like a 3, 2.5, because now it's not as good, because Redwall exists, because Percy Jackson exists.
20 seconds.
But again, I would argue the genre didn't exist before C.S. Lewis and Tolkien.
That's not a defense for its merit.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. The first people who played football aren't as good as football players now, but football wouldn't f***ing exist if they didn't play football. They made up the rules.
Tolkien still... Yes, Lewis.
Argument doesn't matter for the daily.
Cool.
My argument doesn't matter either.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Hey Jeremy, I hope you enjoy all that spike in audio.
Oh, I love all that.
Oh yeah. All right.
The funny thing is when it gets to like what your actual opinions are.
Oh, absolutely. I hate this book. Let's go.
And I don't.
I hate it. I wanted to roll bad, so...
Yeah, get it close to the mic.
Yeah, get it right up in there.
Are you ready?
Do it,
Audience?
Travis can.
I can't show my can yet.
Oh, really?
Boom.
Really?
I can tell you though, my can is bigger.
This is a 16.
It's not.
You got a bigger one,
Is
dude.
yours 30? Is yours
32?
28 ounces
It's not a
bigger?
contest.
Oh, I got a 32.
Oh, that a boy. I hope you check
Yeah,
that
boy.
too.
Yeah.
I got a bedwetter.
Oh, boy. All right. For this week, for us, we have a fitting... this whole brewery is named after Aslan. Aslan Brewing in Billingham, Wa.
Yeah, boy.
There he
Lion
is.
Jesus.
Look at that guy. Lion Jesus. Lion Jesus repping hard. He died for your drunkenness. Here he is.
Look at Lion Jesus.
Yeah, just have a good look at Lion Jesus. This is the Monarch
Lion Jesus.
Monarch IPA from
Look,
Aslan.
if I have to worship Jesus,
I'd rather
Aslan's the
use
way
a
I'm
lion.
going.
Yeah, I'd rather use a lion. My
I am
Jesus,
the
Not
solid
gonna stand
Jesus.
by that statement.
as a Christian, that's fair. My
As
Jesus
Catholics,
is a
we
lion.
want a Vatican III, and we want Aslan put in place of the crucifix in every church.
Talk to P. Francis.
P-Fran.
I'll hit him up.
He's in Rome.
P-Fran.
Call him up.
What's up, dog?
He's a Jesuit. He'll be down for it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Is that what
You gotta
Jesuits
ask
are
him.
into?
Are the Jesuits just really into lions or C.S. Lewis? Or
Yeah.
What do we?
Yeah,
Are we
definitely.
gonna get? Are we
100%.
gonna get into the history of why Colin was kind of right on that?
We might.
Because I can't.
Please,
We're getting into everything,
yeah.
on fermented fiction.
including but not
Yes.
limited to beer.
All right, let's.
Including but not limited to my beer,
Yeah, Travis's
your beer?
which let me tell you,
Okay.
Please do.
ladies and
I hope you
gentlemen,
do.
Everybody else.
Is it a Foster's?
Everybody else, ladies, it is not a Foster's.
Ah.
But listen, you're
It's Australian for
put
beer.
yourself in my shoes, okay?
I'm
Are you wearing
picturing.
shoes? Because I'm not.
You got a nice lady coming over. Okay, you're
All right.
trying to impress your wife on date night. I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to impress my girlfriend on date night. I'm like, what do I get? What's a beer that I want? Well, none other than the champagne of
Yeah, baby! Champagne beers!
Living the high
Miller
life.
time?
What up?
Oh,
What up?
living the high life, ladies and gentlemen.
That is
The
a beautifully
champagne.
big
That's
man.
a high roller right
All
there.
right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the champagne of
for a
beers.
beautiful $2
Round of applause for Travis.
Oh.
Round of applause. Travis is out here every week. And we get to drink these nice craft beers brought to us by Special Brews.
Listen, this Miller Time is brought to you by Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where you can go to the Miller Brewery.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. It's there.
A beautiful
Waiting
place.
for you. Our beers are brought to us by Special Brews.
Yeah.
Thank you, Special Brews.
Yes,
for
thank
hooking
you,
it up.
Special Brews.
Thank you, Special Brews, for sponsoring Fermented Fiction,
Yeah, our first.
along with Cascade Writers.
You know it's the champagne of beers when it maybe looks like piss.
You know, that's actually what your piss is supposed to look like.
Probably.
Yeah, doctors
no, it
doctors hold
actually
up
is.
your pee sample to the champagne of beers. Just
They do.
to double check.
They do. There's actually it's Corona. When you start working at Columbia, they have a little chart that says if your piss looks like water, you are overhydrated. If it looks like an ice cold Corona, you are hydrated. If it looks like
Look at the head on that thing.
That's
nice head, bro.
Dear Lord.
It's because it's champagne of beers.
yeah.
It foams
Champagne
good.
beers.
Yeah.
Also, more beer history for you. Aslan Brewing is, I went to high school with its founder,
Okay.
Mr. Jack Lamb. Mr. Jack Lamb, thank you very much. Your
Thanks,
beers are
Jack Lamb.
wonderful.
Good job.
Sponsor.
Good
for-
job.
Go.
Yeah.
Well, everyone knows you have to chug the champagne of beers with a pinky
do.
up.
Yeah.
You do.
That's why it's champagne.
Travis. Dicks in
Read out.
space. Dicks in space. Dicks in space. Dicks in space. Dicks in space.
Oh, it's all over. God, my God.
Yeah, God my God!
Oh, God. Oh,
That's
oh my.
Is he still breathing?
how you doing?
I do this every week. 3 episodes in a row.
Do you feel classier? I hope so.
So I feel like I'm probably going to get fired if anyone.
You look classier, though. So,
You might.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Listeners and viewers don't know that you're swapping with an O'Doul's underneath the table there.
We know, though. We know.
I have a glass of water.
We're privy to the slight.
Also, what do we think about this beer? Very drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very well-rounded. Hoppy, fresh.
Yeah, you get that hoppiness. There's a fresh, sort of summery sort of vibe to it.
Yes.
I could relax with this.
Yeah, it's a nice, easy drinker IPA. I feel like if somebody said they didn't like IPAs, you know, this might be one that you could pour them that would show them that, you know, IPAs are for everybody.
A little bit hoppier than the Hellbent.
It was, but that was a hazy.
Yeah, hazies are.
Tend to be
That's
a little less
lot
hoppy usually.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a hazy IPA.
It was.
My mistake.
Yeah, it is.
Hazy IPA. Yeah. So, yeah.
Mine's not.
Also, I believe...
Weirdly,
this-
Miller,
Right out of
the champagne
town,
beers, is
Travis.
not particularly hoppy
No. No, it's not.
It is also not hazy.
or alcoholic.
How many IBUs do you have? Oh yeah. Ah, wow. That's where it is. I don't know what you were doing, but I joined
I
in.
was just looking in there, seeing how much less clear it was than a High Life.
Anyway,
Quite
Narnia.
less.
Yeah, Narnia.
All right, yeah, you attack, so you go first.
Oh. I don't love Narnia, but I don't have very many gripes about it. I am more on your side where I think it's foundational. I do think Tolkien did everything Lewis did, but better. Because I think Lewis kind of beats you over the head with his theology, and that's because he legitimately, I will stand by the statement I've made. If you have not read any of Lewis's nonfiction or theology, it is really, really good.
I was telling Clay about this earlier.
It
Yeah.
was.
About the Screw Tape letters specifically, and also, but The Great Divorce is what I was trying to remember the name of.
The Great Divorce is one of the best Christian theological texts I've ever read. It does what Dante's Inferno did, but better and for a modern
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, so The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I think I err more on the side that you were trying to defend, is that he was trying to take a lot of these principles that he very deeply believed in and write them for a younger audience. I also think this might be an unfair defense, but I don't think it's a book that can be read in a bubble. I think it's made better with each subsequent novel that he wrote in the series. Narnia as a whole is very much better than just The
Yeah.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
You're going to lose a lot of the allegory when you only
You do.
read the first part of it.
If you don't make it to the end where the souls kind of travel on and you get the train wreck and all of that, and that kind of circles back to the point of the whole first book, spoilers, is the whole heaven allegory, then it's not as good, but I do think he did a good job with what he was trying to do. Where I think Tolkien did better is that Tolkien doesn't beat you over the head with a ball peen hammer with philosophical idealism.
But he does beat you over the head with Tom Bombadil.
He beats you over the head with a different hammer. Yeah, with a
So
different...
do you want chapters of Tom Bombadil?
The
Or
nice
A
thing
Lion,
about-
a Witch, and a Wardrobe?
The nice thing about
Well,
Tom
the funny
Bombadil is
thing
you can
is-
just skip it.
The funny thing is, Tom Bombadil is C.S. Lewis. They both wrote each other into their books, and Tom
Really?
Bombadil is C.S. Lewis.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Tolkien is Mr. Badger.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Look at this guy, just
Look at this.
blowing minds left and
He
right.
knows all about the Inklings.
Hard-hitting facts on fermented fiction from
Oh,
Travis.
boy. We'll have you tell us about the Inklings, but oh man, look at you.
Finish that and tell us
You're
all
really
about the theology of autobiographies and
this up.
fiction.
As you guys tell your opinion, I gotta look this up to make sure I'm right on who was who.
All right, here's my real opinion. Like I said, this is the intro to fantasy, but should it be? I think this book's actually pretty terrible. It's so full of these old ideas that are much better off dead. For example, Lucy, the supposed main character, is, I guess, kind of like C.S. Lewis's granddaughter or niece or whoever it was that he wrote the book for, supposedly. She brings everyone to Narnia. She's the one that gets everybody there. And then as soon as she meets Aslan, he's like, thank you for bringing me a guy. Go put on a dress. And he gives all the important jobs to the eldest male of the family. I mean, C.S. Lewis grew up in a time where he didn't even know that was wrong. So whatever. But I think it's pretty gross, like, going back and rereading it now. I thought, like, that... I don't think that's really... Like, if I had a kid, I would not have them read this book as Intro to Fantasy. I would have them read Redwall, like you said. Because...
I was wrong.
Yeah, super gross. What?
C.S. Lewis's Treebeard.
Whoa.
Oh, okay, that sounds about right.
Good, because Treebeard's a way better character than Tom Bombadil, damn it.
C.S. Lewis's Treebeard.
Also, isn't Tolkien Treebeard, who takes like 1,000,000 pages to tell you anything? Where, like, I don't know, whatever.
Anyway, I interrupted. What? Continue.
Anyway, that's what I don't like about
Clay's just shitting all over this book. It's a great book. I would read it to my kids.
Trash book.
And nieces and cousins.
Look, have them watch the movie instead.
Ingrain them with stealthy sexism. Go for it. Also, the beavers, super racist.
Not stealthy, and yes, it was super racist, but like... Okay,
There are many outdated ideas. In
like, Santa gives the girls weapons, and he's like, now don't use these too much, not because it's dangerous for children to fight in a war, but because it's unpleasant when women do combat. Mm-hmm. That's literally what Santa says.
It's literally the reason. He gives her a bow. He's like, this bow's really powerful. Don't shoot it a whole lot because you have a vagina. You, though, you with the penis. Here's a sword. Go kill that wolf over there. Your sister's up a tree, even though she has a bow that I guess could also kill the wolf, but she's a good girl. She's listening to her instructions and not shooting it. Good girl. She looks great in that dress. You go kill that wolf for her because you're a boy. Get after it. I thought it was stupid.
He definitely does have many outdated ideas on gender roles. And I do think Tolkien, that's another thing Tolkien did better. Like, Tolkien still has those outdated ideas. Like, you never see a female character who's... Actually, that's not true.
Eowyn.
Eowyn.
Galadriel.
But besides, other than Eowyn, well, Galadriel was not a woman. That's the TV show's doing. But that's a whole other bag. But he had.
She was a ring holder, though.
Brought to you by Old
She was a ring holder. She was a powerful female character. She didn't fight. She's never been like a war scene, but she's a powerful female character who holds a whole kingdom of elves.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say about Galadriel. Not that she was a warrior, but that she was very important, a female leader, and like that wasn't like a.
To do it.
What was that?
Yeah, she was powerful, and she didn't have to rely on hypermasculinity to do it.
Right.
So that's weirdly progressive.
Yes.
But I think, though, at the time, like, I mean, it is 2 boys and 2 girls. That alone is kind of unusual in this sort of fiction printed at that time. You know, so, like, I mean, there are a lot of stories, King Arthur style, that are fantasy, that were well known, that involve, monsters and are like children's fairy tales, and they're all male-centric completely. And I think he needs to be given, Lewis has to be given some credit that his story does have major female characters integral to the story and the storyline and what happens. Yes, it's still sexist in various ways, but it's a whole hell of a lot better than other stuff that was at that same time.
Yeah. Such as?
I mean, if you think of fairy tales pre The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, any female character that's in a leading role is usually asleep.
I mean,
for the
2 named females that talk to one another, it's just not there in that sort of stuff.
No 1700s fairy tale passed the Bechdel test.
I mean, I can't think of any story right then. I'll have to do some research, but
I mean, neither does this.
But I mean, well, look at like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, right? Like Sherlock Holmes. I mean, that was slightly before this time, and actually, it was like 50 years prior. But I mean, that's kind of popular stuff in that time, and there's not a whole lot. And even Victorian novels written by famous female figures, there's not two named female characters that talk to one another. Mm-hmm. And this story, there are.
I don't know. I think there is a lot of outdated. It's hard to talk about Lewis without talking about Tolkien for me, because I lump them into that writing group that was the Inklings. But I would say, to veer to the movie, I think the movie actually did a pretty damn good job of modernizing the story a little bit, but not so much that it was obvious. Making it still for kids. Like, I rewatched it at Villanova. Full disclosure, I did not rewatch it before this episode, but I watched it like a year ago at Villanova for a theology and film night. And I was like, yeah, this is a kids movie. This is not Fellowship of the Ring. Like,
No.
but it's good for what it is. Like, I was entertained. The action sequences are pretty choppy and like definitely PG, but they're well done. The acting's a little meh, but like for kids, it's fine. And I think it's a great intro. I think that movie in particular did exactly what C.S. Lewis's story did for the time it was made. And that is, I want my kid to get into fantasy. I'm going to sit him on the couch and make him watch The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. And they're going to be like, oh my God, I want to be Peter. Or if, oh my God, I want to be...
Peter.
You'll want to be Peter.
You'll want to be Peter. Why would you want to be anyone
I
else?
want to be Peter.
Unless you want to be Edmund?
You'll want to be Peter, or you could be the dickhead, or either of the girls. That's...
Let's talk about Edmund. Friggin' Turkish Delight is not even that good.
It's really not good.
Okay, that's... How does... Like, they're not from Earth, anybody, and he's like, oh, I'd like some Turkish Delight. No person anywhere is like, what are you talking about? I don't understand.
We love that too.
What these words are or what they mean together. You have to explain yourself. They're just like, oh yeah, no worries. You can have as much Turkish Delight as you wanna.
Dude, that's where I'm saying the Freddie Prinze Jr. thing in the sermon. Like, that's the analogy I was making. He's just, it's about a talking dog, Like, that's what I imagine. Those two conversations, I imagine Tolkien just reading that and being like, how does the witch know what Turkish Delight is? And C.S. Lewis is like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and people are
the
like,
witch just knows what he means and creates it.
I mean,
just get over it.
Clay was detecting problematic writing in Fairy Tale last episode, and I'm sure you just couldn't stand the writing errors in this one.
Well, when it's written for children,
you give it a pass.
I kind of like give it a little more of a pass. But yeah, I mean, I didn't like it. I thought the same thing as Jerry, because they go, when she says I'm from the wardrobe, the satyr's like, hey, this country of wardrobe. And I'm like, yeah, good one, but you know what fucking Turkish Delight is, so
he said,
whatever.
He says like, oh, from the nation of spare room. Yes.
So funny.
Anyway, it's
So
never
funny.
Christmas here. I have questions. Why do you know what Christmas is?
Yeah, why do you know what Christmas is?
Like, you have Aslan, but do you have... Is there Jesus? Is there a Jesus there?
Also,
is
why does
Christmas
C.S.
fully
Lewis
a
like
Jesus
Christmas?
thing? That's a,
Well, he was...
Why does C.S. Lewis like Christmas? It's really just a of numerous pagan celebrations so that Christians could get pagan people in line. Like, that's what Christmas was. It was like, you know what, go ahead and have your holiday, but we're going to make it about Jesus now. That's what Christmas is, the modern Christmas. Like, why does he like it?
By that time, it would have been enough that even like theologians today are still going to celebrate Christmas, even though they know.
That was like
they know what they're doing. They know what they're celebrating.
His whole resurrection of Christmas.
I guess in a way, it's celebrating a Christian win.
It is.
Yeah. It's like, we're still here,
also, I don't know.
and all your holidays are just
It's
like
just older magic, guys. There's
Older
old magic, and then there's older magic.
Yeah, there's that. There's the magic, then there's the deep magic, and then there's the deep
magic.
Yes, you've forgotten the deeper
The
magic.
deep magic.
Oh, that magic
Not
is deeper,
the
man.
deep magic to me, which if there when it was written. Anyway,
Tell you.
That's how Aslan probably also knows what Turkish Delight is. That's deep magic stuff.
That's also deep magic stuff.
That's such deep magic.
do the Christmas thing. Think about it as a party, okay? because like I'm speaking from the theologian hat here. Think about it as a party. You're
Is
the
that
one
hat
guy.
red with a little white ball on it?
I'm going to imagine that it is.
You go to a party and everybody is just generally kind of Christian, and you're the one like Christian theologian, and everybody's like, "Oh, are you celebrating Christmas?" You want the one douchebag that's like, "Well, actually, Christmas isn't a Christian holiday per se. In fact, Jesus was probably born in the spring." No, you're just like, "Yeah, sure. I love Christmas."
I love presents. Yeah, bring them on. You have eggnog or what? Yeah, of course, of course. Tolkien would be the actually guy.
Yeah. Tolkien would actually until your balls fell off.
100%.
I like that he's trying to write C.S. Lewis's Treebeard, but I think he totally accidentally wrote himself. I can't get over this now. If anyone's Treebeard, it's Tolkien, right? Am I right?
I mean, probably.
I mean, we didn't know them personally, so maybe not. I don't know.
I know his writing. He writes like Treebeard would write. Oh man, yeah.
The Inklings.
The Inklings.
Great group.
Did you ever find out who the other Inkling? Okay, you're on it.
Oh, let me find it.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
on.
some Googling and we can talk about if anybody's.
Look, there's 100% less songs in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe than The Lord of the Rings. So
Which is fine.
And you,
that's
Yeah,
that's
thank
That's
God.
totally fine by me.
that's a good thing by my
Yes.
I do.
Yes, I do.
You want 100% more songs in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
I mean,
You want to know what I want? I want a true adaptation of Tolkien. I want a freaking Lord of the Rings musical. That's what I want.
It would pretty much be a musical, yeah.
yeah, it kind of would
Yeah,
be.
that would be great, actually. Like, why isn't the Lord of the Rings a musical?
It could
You
be.
hear us, people out there in the world that make musicals? Like,
Yeah. Do some.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel.
Where you at?
Lin-Man, do it.
Lin-Man!
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
Please.
All right, he's heard us.
So,
and,
Yeah,
That
he
should do it.
third most
You're welcome,
famous
everybody.
member-
obviously watches this show.
the third Inkling.
The third Inkling, yeah.
The third most famous member of the Inklings was an author named Charles Williams, who probably people don't know very well.
How would you know that person? That's the most generically English name I've ever heard. It's two English first
wrote-
names.
He wrote War in Heaven, The Place of the Lion, The Greater Trumps, and Descent into Hell. He's also a theologian. And then Owen Barfield was an Inkling.
Owen Barfield. Now that's a good name.
These are some very British names.
Yes.
His major works were The Silver Trumpet,
Okay.
History of English Words,
And the Rusty
Sure.
Trumpet.
Riveting.
and Greek Thought in English Words.
Wow.
What?
Riveting stuff.
All right.
Riveting stuff.
Your boy
Yeah.
loved some
Yeah.
words.
The English were
The
really
most-
good at putting other people's thoughts into their own words.
That's true. That's true.
That was kind of
Here is what the Greeks think.
Yeah.
Oh, those silly Greeks.
I
Well,
saw a video the other day that was like, what if the Egyptians had treated the English like they treat, like just showing up and being like, look at this wonderful Nordic art. It's ours now. We're going to take it back to Cairo and put it in a building forever.
Did you see that? That was on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. He's like, "Welcome to the museum where we just take your stuff
Yeah.
You can
That's
have
what
it back.
museums are.
if you come here
And look at it.
and look at it and pay us to look at it first."
You can have it back. If you can prove to us that you can
Jones
take
is
care of
actually
it.
not that
properly.
great of a guy.
That was an annoying point for me. Is that at points to Tolkien, who basically set out to invent a new mythology, clearly based on Nordic and Northern European mythology and paganism, but like completely reset it in various ways. And then C.S. Lewis in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is like, and then the Peter the Fenris Slayer, because he killed a wolf, and Fenris is a wolf in Norse mythology. So I'm just gonna throw that in there for my friend Tolkien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tolkien must have just been so angry.
Kind of just a lame, like, reference that, yeah, I
You
don't
know
know.
what?
He definitely name drops all over the place, like and dryads and narads and
He's essentially Eminem, you know? Just like, if you weren't alive in the 90s,
Ettins.
you aren't going to understand a good chunk of Eminem's lyrics.
He's just like, what were the enemies in the army? They were the whole monster manual from D&D.
Here,
Pour it out.
Colin, you've led me to this, and I think it's true. The modern equivalent of Lewis is J.K. Rowling. Think about it.
See that?
What did she do? She made a solid fantasy story with a very bare bones understanding of Latin and Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Hey, what did you name your werewolf character? Remus Lupin.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's 100% true.
Yeah, it's
Every spell is
The
just a
Whomping Willow.
for what it does.
Yeah, Harry Potter is just a masterclass in writing something down and then never thinking about it ever again for as long as you live.
Well, and it's gotten out of her hands because now there's this expanded universe and people are starting to be like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. And it's like, yes, because there's not a world underneath
that's
it.
why
Like,
you
it's a good
remember
story.
It's
a good story. You just can't dig too deep into
That was,
it.
It's as striking and memorable as it is fundamentally bananas.
Absolutely. Well, and that was your point about Tolkien. He built this giant world, and I don't think you have to do that, by the way. I don't think that you can't have a good story. I mean, I don't think
You have to do that.
you do not. You absolutely
It's
do
a
not.
requirement.
have
You need
to
to
do
invent 3 languages for every book.
You don't even have to go. Obviously, Tolkien goes to the actual extreme. Like, he's the actual extreme end of the spectrum. And they call George Martin the American Tolkien for a reason. He does the same thing. He has literal novels of backstory that they're now making TV shows about because he won't finish his f***ing series. So, like, Tolkien's the same thing. You could go super deep into Tolkien, and they're making a whole show on it. They can go forever on Tolkien if they want, because there's so much work.
Like, I'll give a middle finger to Christopher Tolkien because in all evidence points to the fact that J.R.R. did not want the Silmarillion to ever be published. That was just his backstory. And his son was like, "Oh, my dad's dead now. I'm just gonna cash this check."
Yeah,
And people like Travis are gonna buy it.
he was right. He was right.
Yep, he knew that you would buy it 2 different times.
Yeah.
He was counting on it.
But I don't think Lewis was like that. And I think that to tie it back, like I think Narnia is to Game of Thrones what Harry if Game of Thrones, if the modern Tolkien is George Martin, then the modern Lewis to me would be J.K. Rowling because she was just like, hey, I'm going to write this very digestible story in a very fun world. And if you dig too deep, it's not going to make any sense. But the point isn't to dig too deep. The point is to just take the allegory at face value and have fun with it. And that's what Narnia is. Whereas Tolkien, if you dig deep, you find out that literally every tree has a name. That's crazy.
You do find that out.
Yeah.
The Balrogs have to do with Morgoth? What does Morgoth have to do with Sauron? But wait, what is Sauron? But if Sauron is that, then what? What? They're all from a different planet?
Which one is God?
Wait, who is
How many Earths? This is just Middle Earth. Where's Upper and Lower Earth?
Oh, they're there.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah.
the stars,
Tolkien's a madman.
the trees
Absolute
are
madman. Yeah.
Yeah, watching the Rings of Power, you just fall down that YouTube rabbit hole. At first, I'm like, I'm just going to watch this 5-minute video that explains it. And then it's like a 20-minute and then a 40-minute video by another guy. And then an hour-long video by another guy.
And then you could go to Cascade Writers and bring it up to somebody and get a whole, 3-hour monologue on Orc Erotica.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Me and Colin were at Cascade Writers Conference last summer, and there was one writer who was very Tolkien educated, and he was...
I made the blunder of criticizing how it is that the dwarves eat.
Ooh.
Where do you grow anything when you live in caves?
Well, if you ever want to know,
I got an answer.
this guy told us, and it took 3 hours.
Didn't know that?
Boy, did I get an
Are
answer.
you even a real fan if you don't know that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
You didn't
not.
read the 12 appendices to the formation of the Dwarven clan?
Well, that's on you, bro.
I am just a complete up.
Yeah, absolutely. Jabroni. Total jabroni. Bumbling through Middle Earth over here like Tom
I just
Bombadil.
own the merch.
Put on your brown robe and shut the hell up. You don't deserve to be white.
You're saying, Clay.
Yeah.
You're saying, Clay, because of
I wish I didn't say what am I saying? Please tell me what I'm saying. Please tell me it's better than you don't deserve to be white.
Don't deserve to be white. You're saying because of the outdated idealism of gender roles that this is like a 1 for you, a 2. Where are you putting it?
No, I wouldn't say it's a 2. I mean, I'd say it's like a. Yeah, it's like a 3, you know? Like, I'd still say it's a good story.
No, I'm not saying it's a 2.
I'm not.
It's like a 3.
If we're on a 5-point scale, there's a massive difference between a 2 and a 3. And I think that's what people... That's the fundamental problem with the 5-point scale. Huge!
I'd say
Huge!
I'd go as far as
Huge.
3 1/4 stars. Because it
wouldn't.
is... If you read if you listen to the audiobook, it's like the most aggressively British anything you've ever heard in your life.
That's very true. That's very
Like,
true.
that's-
It almost sounds like you're being lectured to, the reader on there. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
It is always really awkward, you know, and I don't know, someone who's very Oxford English accent doing kids.
Oh, yeah.
Reading
You're
children,
practically in a
you know?
classroom. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I did listen to it that way.
She stumbled upon the wardrobe and found that it was furs all the way back, and she said, "Mr. Tumnus."
Yeah. It is rough.
Oh.
I find it weird that I feel like we disagreed so much in our argument discussion, but we're going to give it the same. Like, I'd still give it a 3. It's not a 4. It's not a 5. It's like fundamental to the genre, and it's good, but it's not great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
The Hobbit's a 4.
The Hobbit's a 4, yeah, for sure, or almost a 5. I mean, The Hobbit's great. The Hobbit is far better than this, in my opinion.
Yes.
There's a
agree with that.
big gap between the two. I would say if there's like a low end of being a 3, that's what this is, and The Hobbit is high end of 4.
I would put it at the high end of 3 and The Hobbit at the high end of
3
4.
point-
There's where we divide.
3.9?
Not the low end of 3.
4.1.
29? Sorry, new girl.
29? No.
29?
So,
Beautiful.
yeah, I don't know. It's right in the middle because, again, you can't, like, write it off. It is seminal. It is a founding father, to just keep it nice and sexist, of the genre. But still, like, I wouldn't want to start my kids on it because I think there are some outdated ideas in there that, frankly,
So what
could be done away with.
What would be your recommendation?
For starting my kids? Redwall. 100%.
Redwall.
Redwall's great. Redwall has strong characters of every gender. And you know, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I should reread it before I try to champion it too much. But there are definitely some Redwalls where the main character's female. Lots of them, actually. So I know.
Honestly, I'm going to have a...
I don't know about
Sorry.
Redwall itself, though. I've spent a long time since I read that.
I don't remember. I will say, though, I think if I'm recommending just Lewis, I'm gonna start my kids on the movie. I'm not gonna have them read the book.
Yeah, the movie was
Movie's
better.
than the book. It's weird to say that, but it is.
Yeah. I'm
mean,
gonna start my kids on the movie.
Reading this book, I get the, you know, impulse to, like, read it to someone young, you know?
Well, I mean, that's what it's written.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that was C.S.
You're
Lewis's
talking-
goal, and he nailed it. A story to read to your kids.
Colin gives it a 5.
Yeah.
5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's a 5 out
You're
of 5.
talking to two people, Colin. You're talking to some siblings. You know what book our mother read to us when we were very young?
Was it a Stephen King?
Watership Down.
Watership.
Oh, nice.
Watership Down, which was
Jesus.
We read
Yeah.
that. It's dark.
Yeah.
Super dark.
Yeah.
Super dark. Yeah. I never knew how I
Thanks,
become
Mom.
so pessimistic, but now I do. Now I do.
It's mine.
Because at the end, we all die alone. And Mom taught me that when I was like 5 years old.
Obviously.
And then she read you The Road and The Last Stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I could show you my bookshelf, I have the entire collection of Cormac McCarthy.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you do.
He's up there.
Man.
Yeah.
Your head is messed up now.
Yeah, well, good job, everybody. We've done it.
We love our mother.
We do. We do. All right. That's what we got. We got The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's what we think about it.
Lions, witches, wardrobes.
They were there in that book.
Lion
One
Jesus.
time. Lion Jesus.
Lion Jesus beats Evil Lady.
Praise
At
Lion
the end
Jesus.
of the day.
Lion-
Praise Lion Jesus.
Lion Jesus died for your sins.
Praise him.
He died for your beer. Thank you, Aslan, for making organic
thank you.
beer. That's really tasty. Good job.
Yeah.
Are we saying bye?
Yeah, Jesus
saying
only
bye.
turned water into wine, so.
Thank you, Miller High Life, for being the
They did it. They really did. All right.
I mean,
Goodbye, everybody.
We did it. You didn't give it the review that you gave Colt 45. That's for sure.
What review did he give?
and two zigzags.
I think Travis's review of Colt 45 was
A painful
I
story
one
for
time helped my
children.
dad siphon gas.
This was worse.
And this is the same experience.
Yeah. Do you have a, dare I say, allegory to Miller High Life, to real life? You know?
Anything that'll lose us the sponsor.
I mean, what is your number one so far?
Best beer you've had.
What is my favorite one of the crappy beers I've been drinking?
Yeah.
I regularly drink Corona.
There you go.
Like I very regularly.
I agree.
6 packs of Corona. Like I don't.
drink lots of Coronas and they're just fine.
Corona was not a joke to me. Corona was like, this was in my fridge already.
I need.
You actually bought Corona on your own, not for this
did.
show. Which
He
Colt 45.
chugs
That's not even a
Corona every day.
Just
He sucked it
slam
down,
in.
no problem. Sucked it down, no
He,
problem.
he slams that and yells, "Gog, gog!"
He does, and that's how you defeat evil.
Yeah. That's
All right, this show's over. Goodbye.
Bye,
We
everyone.
suck at